Hi, I'm Leonard. Graduated from NYP in 2014 under Visual Communications Diploma. So I'm currently working in Design Bridge and as a senior designer. I've always been a person that is quite a hands-on child. So my toys, specifically my toys, they are tools. They're basically hammers, screwdrivers, and I get quite imaginative with my toys also. So I start crafting my own stuff. I always knew that I'm a person that does a lot of hands-on approach to learning. Visual Communications Diploma is my second diploma. My very first diploma was Info Communications in Temasek Poly. So graduated with it, worked for I think less than a year in the IT field, but couldn't get an interest and footing in that particular industry. But all along at the back of my mind, I've always loved design and particularly art and drawings. So decided to, why not take a gamble, study in design. But however, I do not have any art background, particularly in secondary school. And before that, I didn't even have any training in drawing. Fortunately, I came across NYP. So went through the interview process and went through the test also. And I was really fortunate enough to actually get a placing in NYP in visual communications. Time in NYP was filled with ups and downs, pressures, friendships were formed. Particularly in NYP is interesting to note is that the skills focused here are more commercial basis. So the stuff that I picked up in terms of my thinking and in terms of my technical skills are all relevant, particularly in the field that I'm working in as a packaging and branding designer. So there's a lot of software skills that are being required of me. So in terms of the thinking aspect of it, it was more tilted towards a more commercial valued approach in NYP. So I was really fortunate enough to get really good results and also really good friendships along the way, which we are still going strong and meeting up every year. Unfortunately, I took another gamble in architecture and US. So didn't really complete the term of it. So decided to drop out. Reason first and foremost was that age. Age was not with me. So architecture requires a 5-year degree program. So I didn't really have the time and commitment to actually pull through it, and decided to take a gamble to actually get an internship. And it was under the recommendation of Ms. Tan Mui Xiang. So I did told her my predicament of dropping out from NUS, and she was telling me that why not take this chance to actually take out an internship and see whether whether the design company fits you or not. Took up that chance in an internship with Jones Snow Ritchie. So got into the company and really flourished within the company itself, and really found a placing and interest in packs and branding specifically. So after that, I decided to drop out from NUS, and all was history now. So moved on to another company now, and doing well. So most of the time, my roles and responsibilities as a senior designer is to mentor the juniors, and also take out projects as a lead designers to actually liaise with the clients and produce design solutions that are applicable for them, and also communicates well with their consumers at hand. What I love most about my work is the cognitive process of it. It's something that is the thinking aspect. So in order to actually design something, I always tell my juniors or be it NYP students or my colleagues that you need to actually understand the design topic the particular product that you are designing in you need to be a master of it in order to design for it. So understanding, so as a designer, so before we even start designing something, we actually read up a lot, we get immersed into the product or experience to really learn about what the consumers actually experienced and what drives them to purchase the product or a brand. So what I love about it is that I get to be exposed to different cultures, different industry learnings also, and also at the same time, what I love about working at a design agency specifically, it's a challenge that comes along with it. So every projects are different, every clients that you face are different. So I love the process of doing new stuff. So instead of something that is quite monotone, I love challenging myself in different aspects of design process. Hong Kong Yao. So it's actually a beer brand. You wouldn't see it in Singapore. That is something that is in Hong Kong. So the challenge that came to us was that the brand itself, the Hong Kong Yao beer brand, is lacking in its birthplace, Hong Kong. So people are seeing it as it was lacking in terms of the cultural relevancy to Hong Kong. At the same time, it was becoming something that is almost like a really commercial brand. Hong Kong Yao is actually an indie craft beer brand. So it was lacking that aspect of craft beer. So the client came to us with the challenge to actually revitalize the brand, to rebrand it to something that is relevant to Hong Kong people and expects alike in Hong Kong. So what we did over here was really dive into the aspects of how the Yao word stands in Hong Kong, and we discovered something interesting was that Cantonese Yao is something that is being frequently used in sometimes witty and witty life settings. So you could say that a person is a fa xiu yao. So fa xiu yao is something that is someone that is really have a high fever in a certain aspect of interest. So that's why they and it has a history to people that have great interest in records. So what we did over here through the findings and talking to the locals, the Hong Kong people, and we designed something that was really that sparks interesting conversations with a beer that really sparks interesting conversations with locals and expats alike. So, and also a branding that was that was really iconic and that really stands up on shelf and helps the brand to further their sales targets. So we are really proud that Hong Kong Yao actually won several awards in the international design community. So that's something to be really proud of. Be open to learning new things and also be really hardworking. So opportunities are hard to come by. So if you always view that your job is something that you have so much love into, and that you're willing to contribute a lot of time, a lot of effort, and not producing something that is substandard, I would say, and also that you feel really proud of that as a designer, and also being open to learning new skills. In the design industry, things are always changing. Programs are always updating. So it's always wise to pick up relevant things that you want, that you have interest in, and also that you want to showcase your talent about. So be it if you are a visual communication designer, do not think that your job is confined to a 2D space. So be more experimental. Feel free to actually explore programs or skill sets in the 3D world, and also learn things that read more and also learn things about that you don't really get in touch with in your design career, so that someday that skill might be useful later on in your design process. As a diploma graduate, what can really help you and really set you apart is to actually go in with really read more, understand the breadth of work that you're doing, so that really put your efforts in understanding your consumers, your markets, your product, so that you're able to design something that is relevant in terms of a commercial setting. So NYP has really helped me in thinking for the commercial world. It really helps that the lecturers here really ground us to the value of design, taught us really well, and help us pick up the skills and ready us to work straight after our diploma graduation. I graduated from visual merchandising, so I think we were the first batch of graduates learning visual merchandising. So it was a new experience for us and also a new experience for the lecturers as well. One of the tasks that projects that we were given was to actually design a window display in NYP. So we were given a display right at the first level. So we were working in groups of probably 4 or 3, can't remember, but we really pulled an all-nighter, and the work came out really nice. We really pulled through and really created things with our limited resources. I really wanted to take this chance to actually thank Miss Ong Kwak Teng. She really helped me in one of my graduating projects, which to be honest, when I started it, I had a lot of doubts. Reason being was that I speak dialect, but I don't really speak Hokkien or any of the dialects. The only dialects that I can speak is Hakka. So the projects that I did was to actually revitalize and help the young people to actually pick up the Chinese dialects. So I specifically took the challenge to focus in Hokkien. So within that period of time, I would say that I'm more or less proficient in my Hokkien now, and thanks to the help from my parents and from a lot of family members. So and also why I wanted to thank Miss Hong was that she really took the effort to actually help me pull through this project, giving me a lot of guidance, helping me to actually look at what was missing in this project, and refined further on for this to be submitted. And I was really fortunate that NYP actually supported me in submitting this project for the Singapore Design Award and also the Singapore Design Mark. And I was really fortunate again to actually won an award for that under the student category. And I would say that it really gave me an edge, I would say, against when I'm going for my job interviews later on. It's something that was, especially as a fresh grad, having an accolade under my belt really helped me to set me apart from the other graduates. I think my ultimate aim is to become a creative director. Still far away, I would say, but working towards it really hard. So I think as to why I wanted to become a creative director, reason being is that I wanted to really create and direct projects that are really helpful for our clients. At the same time, something that is worthy to actually go into awards and create buzz in the design industry.